Now, just give this baby a little trial run here. There. Now. Perfect. Music to my ear. Hey, Edith, hurry up, will you? The guys will be coming at me.
Coming, here you are.
Oh, great. Put that on me now. And now we'll get going here. Would you look at this? The cleaners must have shrank, Dad.
Oh, the cleaners didn't shrink nothing. You would have shrink this.
I put the blame on you. Everything you cook makes me fat.
I don't cook beer.
Stay off my case, will you?
Archie, I don't see why they have to have more than one big convention in a whole year.
If I told you once, I told you a million times, this ain't a big convention. This is a caucus. Can't you remember caucus there? This is the idea of our own little post here. We hold these, what you call, semi-animal meetings. And that is all in the interest of national security. Do you know there's a major threat in this world today? Your friend, Jimmy Carter's trying to make peace with the Russians. Yeah. And these decisions that we take at this here caucus, they are passed right up the line to your National Steering Committee there, and could very well have an effect upon the entire course of our whole national defense.
Oh. Well, here's your plastic doggy doo-doo.
I'm glad you found that. Pack that right next to my whoopee cushion there. And then goes this. Oh, by the way, did you get the batteries that I told you from Ferguson's?
Oh, here they are.
All right, we'll slip them right in here.
I didn't know you wanted them for this thing.
This ain't a thing, Edith. This is a gooser.
To me, it's a thing.
It ain't a thing. You can't go up behind somebody and ding him. You go up behind somebody and you go...
There they are.
Okay, guys, come in there. Here, pack that, huh? Synchronize your watches, fellas.
Archie, please promise me that you won't drink a lot.
Please.
Remember your blood pressure.
Let me tell you something, will you? Booze ain't got nothing to do with blood pressure.
Oh.
It's the truth. It's the heart that controls that. The booze you drink goes right down your pipes. It goes right past your heart. It goes down to the infiltration ducts of your liver, and it passes out here through your lowest and test tubes. Okay, guys, coming on a double. Grab the bag, huh, Rita?
Archie, please stay out of trouble. Don't take no salt and leave off the animal fats.
Now, that has an effect on the blood pressure.
That's right, animal fats.
No, useless talk. Now, want to shake hands goodbye with me?
Oh, no, I know what you got in your hand.
You're too smart for me, I read it. Okay, guys, yeah, go ahead. When the Fuhrer says we used to master race, we hire right in the Fuhrer's face. Over hill, over dale, we will hit the dusty trail.
I'll be looking at the moon.
Da-da-dee.
But I'll be seeing you.
Beautiful.
You know, they don't write them like that no more.
Well, that's because everybody's dead now.
Hey, fellas! Look at old Party Pooper Pete here. Didn't he pass out too soon?
I don't know. How many drinks has he had?
30.
Hey, I'll wake him up. I get just the thing to wake old Party Pooper Pete right up.
Ah, come on, now let the poor guy alone. He's probably suffering from jet lag.
What kind of jet lag? He came by Greyhound.
And he's suffering from dog lag.
Look what I got to wake him up with it, huh?
Save it! Save it! I got something better. What are you gonna do?
What you gonna do, Pink?
An oldie but a goodie. Easy, easy. Firefighter, there's a fire!
What a great gag here.
Funny, huh? He really hurt him. Well, what am I gonna do with my water bomb, Pink?
Use it on the innocent civilians.
On the innocent civilian. Okay, Bombay door's open.
Open up the Bombay door.
Okay, hey, get the bomb sight there, Bombardier.
1 second.
Okay, all right, aim it down there. Give me 5 degrees to the left there. Okay, we're over target, Captain.
Start the countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right on target.
What time is it?
Who the hell cares?
Well, shouldn't we be downstairs listening to the feature military speaker?
Hey, we're wasting drinking time. How about a shooter, Arch?
Yeah, give me a shit.
Another little taste for Arch.
Hey, Wally, Nick's on the booze for his nibs here. He knows how to sell it, but he don't know how to drink it.
Hey, come on, Barney, clam up, will you? Huh? I'm just about to propose a toast here.
Oh, toast.
Yeah,
Toast.
a toast to WW2. The best war we ever had so far.
WW2.
There'll be bluebirds
Over the white sun's over. Tomorrow when the world is free. My God, that was smooth.
Don't you think you've had enough?
Hey, listen, I know when I had enough.
Well, I think you've had enough. You had a couple on the plane.
Oh, well, I'll listen to her. Listen, hey, if she says I had enough, then I had enough, you know? Because, hey, them people know we're drunk when they see one. I meant stewardesses, you know? They were stewardesses.
Oh, I know what you meant.
Hey there, little girl. Did Pinky bring you to the party?
No, Wally's my date.
That's right.
Wally is your date. Oh, look at Wally, the big family man. He's dating all the young girls.
No, I invited everybody
look
here,
at
Arch.
this.
Come
Look
on,
at
that's
this.
not
Hey,
a
I got
guy.
him blushing. Hey, fellas, look. I got Wally blushing over here, huh? But you ain't blushing, our little girl.
Sure. Can't you tell?
No. I mean, you know what I'm talking about? Some people, you can't, as easy as... Well, no,
Excuse me.
I didn't say that right, you know?
No, you talk too much.
Well, I didn't mean nothing
Then
by
what? Just sit down and be quiet.
Yeah, but
Would
go
you
over
just
and
sit
tell
down?
her I didn't mean
Okay,
nothing by
okay,
that.
just
then,
sit
yeah,
down.
all right, all right. Come on, you guys, you know. After once or twice, a thing like this gets vulgarious.
I want to apologize for what that creep said.
Who?
Archie.
Why do you call him a creep? I thought he was your friend.
He is. I have several friends who are creeps. Archie and I have been pulling jokes on each other for years. On the plane today, he put that whoopee cushion under my seat.
Oh, is that what that was?
Boy, would I like to get even with him. Hey, you want to pull a joke on him with me?
No. No.
It'll be fun.
What do I have to do?
When you hear this, you're gonna fall apart.
How the hell with your father? What?
I'm nuts about you, Archie Bunker.
I'm nuts about you, Alice Faye. This year's crop of kisses don't seem the same to me. Hey, how did you get here?
You brought me here.
When? When?
Last night?
Last night? What are you doing here?
Right now? Nothing.
Wait a minute. Now, I don't remember nothing.
Too bad. It was beautiful.
Oh, hold it. No, don't hold nothing. I gotta get out of here.
No, please.
I gotta go.
Do you want me to cry?
Don't cry. Hey, don't make no noise at all, for God's sakes. I'm a happy married man, you know. Hey, I don't fool around.
I know. You got right to it.
Now, you shouldn't have let me.
Who could have stopped you? Tiger. Be my love. No one else can.
Don't sing. Please, cut. Oh, Lord. Why do dames who go for me always sing bad?
I wanted you.
God, we get arrested here. Hey, young lady, you know I'm old enough to be your father?
I love old men.
You do?
You better believe it. Tiger. Oh,
Well, I know, but I can't let, I can't. Oh, what the hell? I gotta get out of here. This ain't right. This here thing. This is wrong. Hey, you know what this is? This here is madness. I mean, whatever went on here, you know, that's it. We gotta think of each other as, like, we call it ships that clash in the night. Don't cry. Hey, don't cry. Hey, don't cry, little girl. Listen to me. I blame myself for this here thing. See? You're only a young girl. I'm an experienced man of the world. I took advantage of you here. I shouldn't ought to did that. And I'm sorry for that. Now, if I give you some beautiful memories last night, which I can't myself remember, you gotta forget them. Forget them. Well, no, you could hang on to them. But you gotta try and forget me. You know, I'm married. I got a wife. I've been married to her for 30 years. She's just 29. And she's got memories, too. What you're looking at here, see, is kind of an old-fashioned guy who really believes in the sanctity of marriage. Okay?
Archie, I'm gonna have to level with you. I can't keep doing this.
Me neither.
Pinky put me up to this.
This here is one of Pinky's gags?
Yeah.
So nothing happened here last night, huh? Oh.
Disappointed?
Oh, no, because I wouldn't have remembered it anyhow. Oh, but that Pinky Peterson. I want to get even with him. Some way, someday.
Someday. What about now?
Can you hear anything, Pink? It's quiet now. I'd give $1 million to be a bedbug between them sheets.
You've pulled some doozies in your time, Pink, but this is your crowning glory.
This even tops the gag you pulled at the beer bust when you sewed up Hank's zipper. You remember that, Hank?
That wasn't so funny.
Yeah, that was good, but this is my masterpiece. Oh! How did Archie take it?
Yeah, what's happening in there?
Archie's dead.
He's dead.
He can't be dead.
What are you talking about?
Well, he woke up, took one look at me, clutched his heart and closed his eyes.
Maybe he just fainted.
No. He's not breathing and he has no pulse.
I don't believe it.
Are you sure?
Believe me, I know a dead person when I see one.
Dead?
Archie, he was so full of life.
My God, this is awful. Oh, it was just a joke.
A joke?
Well, I didn't mean any harm. I love Archie. You guys know that.
You better figure out what you're gonna do about him. But whatever it is, leave me out of it.
Wally. Hank, listen.
Come on.
Barney, you gotta help me.
Hey, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. How does he look?
Terrible.
Well, he never was no Paul Newman.
Huh?
Why, you...
Gotta help me, Bonnie.
What do you mean?
I'll be blamed for this. I didn't know he had a bum ticker. We're gonna make it look like an accident.
Accident in bed?
What floor are we on?
14.
We'll throw him out the window.
How are we gonna do that to poor Arch?
Easy. You take his head, I'll take his legs. We'll tell him he was throwing a water bag out the window and forgot to let go.
Come on, we can't do that to poor Arch.
Why not? Dead is dead.
But Maribel's a witness.
I thought of that. We'll throw her out, too.
Think what this is gonna do to poor Edith.
I am thinking of Edith. If it's an accident, she'll collect double indemnity. She'll be set for the rest of her life.
As far as Edith is concerned, well, this whole thing is a stroke of luck.
You buy it?
Okay.
What the hell you mean, okay?
I'm home, Edith.
Oh, how was the convention?
Caucus, Edith, the caucus.
Caucus.
Yeah, I was bored to death. Well, almost to death. Well, you know me. I don't like to be away from home. I never like to sleep alone.
I'll bet you wasn't alone.
What? What do you mean by that?
Well, you always dream about Alice Faye.
Oh, you. But, no more of these caucuses for me. You know, a bunch of grown, middle-aged men acting like children. I ain't ever gonna do that no more. I'm so glad to be home.
Oh, and I'm so glad you're home.
The sun filtered through the curtains of the modest living room in Queens, casting a warm glow over the worn furniture that had seen decades of life, laughter, and the occasional heated argument. Archie Bunker sat at the small upright piano, his fingers tracing the keys as he and Edith began their ritualistic song of nostalgia. They sang about the way Glenn Miller played and the songs that made the hit parade. It was a melody of a simpler time, a time when guys like them had it made. Those were the days they cherished, when you knew exactly where you were and what the world expected of you. In their song, girls were girls and men were men, and Archie could not help but lament the loss of leadership, wishing for a man like Herbert Hoover to take the reins once again. Back then, they did not feel the need for a welfare state because everybody pulled his own weight. Even their old Los Alamos seemed to run great in the rearview mirror of their memories. Those were truly the days. Archie stood up, adjusting his clothes with a sense of purpose. He was preparing for a journey, a departure from the routine of his daily life. He asked Edith to give his small device a trial run. He held it to his ear, listening intently, only to realize he had accidentally eaten something he should not have in his haste. He urged Edith to hurry, for the guys would be coming for him soon. Edith, ever the devoted and patient wife, brought over his things, helping him settle into his gear. As Archie looked at himself, he grumbled that the cleaners must have shrunk his clothing. Edith, with her characteristic honesty, suggested that perhaps it was Archie who needed to shrink instead of blaming the cleaners. Archie scoffed, claiming that everything she cooked made him fast, though Edith pointed out that she certainly did not cook the beer he enjoyed. He told her to stay off his case, his mind already halfway to the gathering. Edith wondered aloud why they needed to have more than one big convention in a single year. Archie corrected her immediately, his voice rising with the importance of the event. He told her that if he had told her once, he had told her 1,000,000 times that this was not a big convention. It was a caucus. He asked her if she could not remember the word caucus. This was the idea of their own little post, holding what they called semi-annual meetings in the interest of national security. Archie believed there was a major threat in the world today, especially with Jimmy Carter trying to make peace with the Russians. He felt that the decisions taken at this year's caucus would be passed right up the line to the National Steering Committee and could very well have an effect upon the entire course of the whole national defense. As they packed, Edith found a piece of plastic doggy doo-doo, which Archie was glad to see. He instructed her to pack it right next to his whoopee cushion. Then came the batteries from Ferguson's. Edith had not realized he wanted them for the strange device he was holding. Archie clarified that it was not a thing, it was a goose. To Edith, it remained a thing, but Archie insisted you could not go up behind somebody and thing them. You had to go up behind them and use the goose to startle them. Suddenly, his friends arrived. Archie told them to come in and synchronize their watches. Edith pleaded with him not to drink a lot, reminding him of his blood pressure. Archie, in his typical fashion, explained his own medical theory. He claimed booze had nothing to do with blood pressure because it was the heart that controlled that. According to Archie, the booze went right down the pipes, past the heart, into the infiltration ducts of the liver, and passed out through the lowest intestines. He ignored her advice about avoiding salt and animal fats, dismissing it as useless talk. He tried to shake hands goodbye, but Edith was too smart for his hand buzzer. Later, at the hotel where the caucus was held, the air was thick with the scent of old cigars and cheap whiskey. The men were in high spirits, singing songs of the master race and howling in the face of authority. They sang about hitting the dusty trail and seeing loved ones under the moon. Archie remarked that they did not write songs like those anymore, to which a friend replied it was because everyone who wrote them was dead now. They noticed their friend Pete, whom they called Party Pooper Pete, had passed out far too soon. Someone calculated he had 30 drinks. Archie decided to wake him up with a prank. Another friend suggested he was suffering from jet lag, but since he came by Greyhound, it was deemed dog lag instead. They joked about using water on innocent civilians, opening the imaginary bomb bay doors and counting down to a watery drop. The atmosphere was one of chaotic camaraderie. They questioned the time, but concluded that no one really cared as long as the drinks were flowing. They were wasting drinking time instead of listening to the military speaker downstairs. Archie accepted another shooter, even though his friends joked that he knew how to sell it but did not know how to drink it. Archie proposed a toast to World War II, calling it the best war they ever had so far. They sang about blue birds over the white cliffs of Dover, envisioning a world that would be free tomorrow. Archie felt the smoothness of the moment, though his friends suggested he had already had enough. Archie claimed he knew when he had enough, but he was clearly swayed by the celebratory spirit. In the midst of the party, Archie noticed a young girl and asked if Pinky had brought her. She explained she was Wally's date. Archie teased Wally about being a big family man dating young girls. He made a comment that caused a bit of tension, and though he claimed he did not mean anything by it, the mood shifted. Pinky later approached the girl, Maribel, and apologized for what Archie had said, calling him a creep. When Maribel questioned why he would call his friend a creep, Pinky explained that he and Archie had been pulling jokes on each other for years, including the whoopee cushion Archie had placed under his seat on the plane. Pinky wanted to get even and invited Maribel to help him pull a massive joke on Archie. The next morning, Archie woke up in a state of utter confusion. He found himself in a hotel bed, and to his horror, Maribel was there with him. He could not remember a single thing from the night before. Maribel, playing her part in the prank perfectly, told him it was beautiful and that she was nuts about him, calling him her tiger. Archie was in a panic, insisting he was a happily married man and that he had to get out of there. He felt terrible, blaming himself for taking advantage of a young girl while being an experienced man of the world. He told her she had to forget him because of the sanctity of his marriage to Edith, who had been his wife for 30 years. Just as Archie was reaching the height of his guilt, Maribel could no longer keep up the act. She confessed that she could not keep doing it and revealed that Pinky Peterson had put her up to the whole thing. Archie was relieved but also annoyed, realizing nothing had actually happened. He vowed to get back at Pinky someday. However, that opportunity came sooner than expected. Pinky and the other guys were listening at the door, waiting for the climax of their masterpiece. When Maribel came out, she told them Archie was dead. She claimed he woke up, took one look at her, clutched his heart, and died. Pinky was devastated. He had not meant any harm and truly loved Archie. He and Barney began to panic, wondering what to do with the body. They even considered a wild plan to make it look like an accident by throwing him out of the window from the 14th floor, thinking it would help Edith collect insurance money. They argued about the ethics of the situation until Archie suddenly revealed he was very much alive, having turned the joke back on them. When Archie finally returned home to Queens, the familiar sight of his house brought him a sense of peace he had not expected. Edith welcomed him home with open arms, asking about the convention. Archie corrected her again, saying it was a caucus. He admitted he was bored nearly to death and realized he did not like being away from home or sleeping alone. He expressed a newfound disdain for middle-aged men acting like children and told Edith how glad he was to be home. Edith was equally happy to have him back, and as they settled into their routine, the echoes of the studio audience's laughter seemed to fade into the comfort of their shared life, a life built on decades of memories and the simple, enduring bond of family. The evening sun was beginning to dip below the horizon, casting long and amber shadows across the living room of the house in Queens. It was a place where time seemed to slow down, caught in the comfortable grip of tradition and the familiar scent of home. Archie Bunker sat at the piano, his fingers tracing the keys with a nostalgic reverence that belonged to a different era. Beside him stood Edith, her face glowing with a simple and enduring affection. Together, they began to sing, their voices intertwining in a melody that was more than just music. It was a testament to a lifetime of shared memories. They sang of the way Glenn Miller played, and the songs that had once made the hit parade. In those days, men like them felt they had it made, and life possessed a clarity that seemed to have vanished in the rushing tides of the modern world. They recalled a time when everyone knew their place, when girls were girls and men were men. With a touch of wistful humor, Archie sang about how the world could truly use a man like Herbert Hoover again. In his mind, those were the days when the welfare state was an unnecessary concept because everybody pulled his own weight. He remembered how their old Los Alamos ran with a precision and greatness that defined a generation. Those, he insisted with a gentle smile, were the days. Once the song concluded, the atmosphere shifted toward the practical matters of the present. Archie moved toward a small device, his brow furrowed in concentration. He told Edith to just give this baby a little trial run. He held the object close to his ear, listening intently. After a moment, he claimed that he had eaten it, a playful exaggeration of his frustration with the technology. He urged Edith to hurry up, noting that the guys would be coming for him soon. Edith, ever the diligent companion, hurried over and told him she was coming, handing him what he needed. Archie took it and asked her to put it on him so they could get going. As he looked at his attire, he expressed dismay, suggesting that the cleaners must have shrunk his clothing. Edith, with her characteristic honesty, countered that the cleaners did not shrink anything and suggested that perhaps Archie was the one who ought to shrink. Archie, never one to take blame lightly, insisted that everything she cooked made him fast, though she pointed out that she did not cook beer. He asked her to stay off his case as he prepared for his trip. Edith, watching him pack, expressed her confusion about why they had to have more than one big convention in a whole year. Archie turned to her, his tone paternal and slightly exasperated. He told her that if he had told her once, he had told her 1,000,000 times that this was not a big convention. He explained that this was a caucus. He asked if she could not remember the word caucus. He explained that this was the idea of their own little post, where they held what they called semi-annual meetings in the interest of national security. He spoke with great gravity about the major threats in the world today, mentioning that her friend Jimmy Carter was trying to make peace with the Russians. Archie believed that the decisions they took at this year's caucus were passed right up the line to the National Steering Committee and could very well have an effect upon the entire course of the whole national defense. As he spoke of these grand matters, Edith produced a piece of plastic shaped like doggy doo-doo. Archie, without missing a beat, expressed his gladness that she had found it. He instructed her to pack it right next to his whoopee cushion. He then checked on the batteries he had requested from Ferguson's. Edith confirmed she had them and handed them over. Archie began slipping them into a mechanical object. Edith admitted she did not know he wanted them for that thing. Archie corrected her immediately, stating that it was not a thing, but a goose. To Edith, it remained a thing, but Archie insisted that you could not go up behind somebody and thing them. Instead, you went up behind somebody and used the goose to startle them. At that moment, his friends arrived. He told the guys to come in and begin packing. He called for them to synchronize their watches. Edith, concerned as always, asked Archie to promise that he would not drink a lot, reminding him of his blood pressure. Archie scoffed at the notion, claiming that booze had nothing to do with blood pressure. He offered a pseudo-scientific explanation, stating that it was the throat and the heart that controlled such things. He claimed that the booze went right down the pipes, past the heart, and into the infiltration ducts of the liver before passing out through the lowest intestines. He urged his friends to move on a double. He asked Edith to grab the bag. She pleaded with him to stay out of trouble, to avoid salt, and to leave off the animal fats, as she believed those truly affected blood pressure. Archie dismissed her concerns as useless talk. He offered to shake hands goodbye, but Edith, knowing his tricks, suspected he had something hidden in his palm. Archie laughed, admitting she was too smart for him. As the men departed, they began to sing a spirited tune about the master race and howling in the face of the furious. They sang about hitting the dusty trail in the morning sun and seeing a loved one in the moon. Archie remarked that they did not write songs like that anymore. His friend noted that was because everybody was dead now. They looked over at their companion, Pete, who had already passed out. They teased him for being a party pooper, wondering how many drinks he had consumed. The answer was 30. Archie decided he had just the thing to wake him up, though others suggested letting the poor guy alone, attributing his state to jet lag. Archie pointed out that Pete had come by Greyhound and was therefore suffering from dog lag. The scene shifted to the hotel room where the caucus was in full swing. The air was thick with laughter and the spirit of camaraderie. They played games, pretending the hotel room was a bomber plane. They called for the bomb bay doors to open and aimed their imaginary sights at innocent civilians below. They counted down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In the midst of the chaos, someone asked what time it was, but Archie declared that nobody cared. They debated whether they should go downstairs to listen to the feature military speaker, but decided they were wasting valuable drinking time. Archie accepted another shooter, even as his friend Barney suggested that Archie knew how to sell it, but did not know how to drink it. Archie told Barney to clam up and proposed a toast. He toasted to World War II, calling it the best war they ever had so far. They sang about bluebirds and the white cliffs of Dover, dreaming of a tomorrow when the world would be free. Archie, feeling the effects of the alcohol, was told by his friends that he had likely had enough. He insisted he knew his limits, even as he recalled the stewardesses on the plane who could spot a drunk when they saw one. A young woman named Maribel was present, and Archie, in his blurred state, began to tease his friend Wally for dating such a young girl. He attempted to make conversation with her, but his words became tangled, and he eventually sat down, realizing he might have said something inappropriate. Pinky Peterson and the others were secretly planning a grand prank. Archie, exhausted, eventually fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, Archie woke up in a room he did not immediately recognize. He was startled to find Maribel there. She looked at him with an adoring gaze and told him she was nuts about him. Archie, confused and panicked, asked how he had gotten there. She claimed she had brought him there the previous night. Archie struggled to remember anything, but she insisted it had been beautiful. He became desperate to leave, explaining that he was a happily married man and did not fool around. Maribel played her part perfectly, calling him a tiger and begging him not to leave. She even began to sing, much to Archie's chagrin. He pleaded with her to stop, worried they would get arrested. He reminded her that he was old enough to be her father, but she claimed to love old men. Archie felt trapped in a state of madness. He told her they must think of themselves as ships that clash in the night. Seeing her start to cry, he took the blame upon himself, calling himself an experienced man of the world who had taken advantage of a young girl. He told her she must try to forget him because he had a wife of 30 years who also had memories. Just as Archie reached the height of his guilt, Maribel broke character. She admitted she could not keep doing this and suggested that Pinky had put her up to it. Archie realized it was a gag and felt a mix of relief and lingering embarrassment. He vowed to get even with Pinky Peterson someday. Meanwhile, outside the door, Pinky and Barney were listening, convinced their masterpiece of a prank was working perfectly. They decided to take it a step further. When Maribel exited the room, she told them that Archie was dead. She claimed he had woken up, looked at her, clutched his heart, and died. Pinky and Barney were struck with Boy, the way Glenn Miller played, and the songs that made the hit parade. Those were the melodies that defined an era. Guys like us, we had it made back then. Those were the days. You knew exactly where you stood in the world. Girls were girls, and men were men. Mister, we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again. In those times, we did not need a welfare state. Every single person pulled his own weight. Our old Los Alamos ran great. Those truly were the days. Archie Bunker sat in his living room, trying to adjust a small device. He told himself to just give this baby a little trial run here. He pressed a button and listened. He asked if it worked. He held it to his ear and then, in a moment of playful absurdity, he pretended to eat it. He urged his wife, Edith, to hurry up because the guys would be coming for him soon. Edith came in, carrying his things. Archie told her to put that on him now so they could get going. He looked at his clothes and sighed. He asked her to look at this, claiming the cleaners must have shrunk it. Edith, ever the voice of practical reason, replied that the cleaners did not shrink anything. She suggested that perhaps he was the one who ought to shrink. Archie immediately put the blame on her, saying everything she cooked made him fast. Edith pointed out that she did not cook beer. Archie told her to stay off his case. Edith wondered why they had to have more than one big convention in a whole year. Archie corrected her, as he had many times before. He told her if he told her once, he told her 1,000,000 times, this was not a big convention. This was a caucus. He asked her if she could remember the word caucus. He explained it was the idea of their own little post. They held these what they called semi-annual meetings, and according to Archie, it was all in the interest of national security. He asked her if she knew there was a major threat in the world today. He claimed her friend, Jimmy Carter, was trying to make peace with the Russians. He believed the decisions they took at this year's caucus would be passed right up the line to the National Steering Committee and could very well have an effect upon the entire course of their whole national defense. Edith handed him a peculiar item, his plastic doggy doo-doo. Archie was glad she found that. He told her to pack that right next to his whoopee cushion. Then came another item. He asked if she got the batteries he told her to get from Ferguson's. She confirmed she had them. Archie said they were slipping right in. Edith admitted she did not know he wanted them for this thing. Archie corrected her again, saying this was not a thing, it was a goose. To Edith, it was still a thing. Archie insisted it was not a thing, explaining that you cannot go up behind somebody and thing them. You go up behind somebody and you produce a specific sound. The guys arrived. Archie told them to come in and pack. He told them to synchronize their watches. Edith pleaded with Archie to promise he would not drink a lot, reminding him of his blood pressure. Archie told her that booze had nothing to do with blood pressure. He claimed the heart controlled that, while the booze went right down the pipes, past the heart, to the infiltration ducts of the liver, and passed out through the lowest intestines. He urged the guys to move on a double. Edith asked him to stay out of trouble and avoid salt and animal fats. Archie dismissed it as useless talk. He offered to shake hands goodbye, but Edith saw through his prank. He admitted she was too smart for him. As they left, they sang about being the master race in a satirical tone, howling in the face of the furious. They sang about hitting the dusty trail in the morning sun. Archie reflected on how they do not write songs like that anymore. One of the men remarked it was because everybody was dead now. They looked at a friend named Pete who had passed out. Archie asked how many drinks he had, and the answer was 30. Archie wanted to wake him up with a prank, but someone suggested he was suffering from jet lag. Archie joked it was dog lag because he came by Greyhound. They decided to pull a fire drill prank, shouting fire until Pete jumped up. They laughed, thinking it was a great gig. The atmosphere at the caucus was filled with old stories and heavy drinking. They joked about using water on innocent civilians and opened the imaginary bomb bay doors. Archie asked what time it was, but no one cared. They were wasting drinking time. Someone offered Archie a shooter. Wally tried to limit Archie's intake, but Archie insisted he knew when he had enough. He noticed a young woman and asked if Pinky brought her to the party. She said she was Wally's date. Archie teased Wally about being a family man dating young girls. Later, Archie found himself in a room with the young woman, Maribel. He was confused. He said he was nuts about her, but then realized he did not know how he got there. She claimed she brought him there last night. Archie panicked, saying he did not remember anything. Maribel acted hurt, saying it was beautiful. Archie insisted he had to get out of there. He told her not to cry and not to make noise because he was a happily married man who did not fool around. Maribel teased him, calling him a tiger. Archie was horrified by the situation, feeling it was wrong and madness. He told her they were like ships that clash in the night. He blamed himself, saying he was an experienced man of the world who took advantage of her. He told her she must forget him because he had been married to his wife for 30 years. Archie spoke about the sanctity of marriage, but then Maribel broke character. She confessed she could not keep doing this. She revealed it was one of Pinky's gags. Archie was relieved, but also annoyed. He decided to get back at Pinky. He pretended to be dead when the guys came in. Maribel told them Archie took one look at her, clutched his heart, and died. Pinky and Barney panicked. They did not want to be blamed. Pinky suggested making it look like an accident by throwing Archie out of the window from the 14th floor. They even joked about throwing Maribel out too. They reasoned that if it was an accident, Edith would collect double indemnity and be set for the rest of her life. Archie had heard enough. He jumped up, exposing the prank. Eventually, Archie returned home to Edith. She asked how the caucus was. Archie told her he was bored to death, or almost to death. He admitted he did not like being away from home or sleeping alone. He told Edith there would be no more caucuses for him, watching middle-aged men act like children. He was simply glad to be home with her. Edith was overjoyed to have him back. The living room of the Bunker household was filled with the echoes of a piano and the steady, rhythmic nostalgia of two voices singing in harmony. It was a scene that captured the essence of a bygone era, a time when the world seemed simpler and the melodies carried a different kind of weight. Archie and Edith sat side by side, their voices blending as they revisited the songs that defined their youth. They sang about the way Glenn Miller played and the songs that made the hit parade. To them, guys like them had it made in those days. It was a time when you knew exactly where you stood. Girls were girls, and men were men. Archie leaned into the lyrics, his voice rising with a certain longing for a leader like Herbert Hoover again. In his mind, those were the days when the world did not need a welfare state because everybody pulled his own weight. Even the memory of old Los Alamos seemed to run great in the light of that nostalgia. As the final notes of the song faded, the atmosphere shifted from musical reflection to the frantic energy of preparation. Archie was getting ready for a trip, and his focus was entirely on the small, strange objects scattered across the table. He picked up a device, inspecting it with the intensity of a scientist conducting a delicate experiment. He told Edith to give the baby a little trial run. He held it to his ear, listening closely, and then remarked with a satisfied nod that he ate it. He urged Edith to hurry up, noting that the guys would be coming for him soon. Edith approached with a garment in hand, presenting it to him with her usual gentle demeanor. Archie looked at it and immediately began to grumble. He asked if the cleaners had shrunk it, but Edith was quick to defend the laundry service. She told him that the cleaners did not shrink anything and suggested that perhaps he was the one who ought to shrink. Archie, never one to accept blame easily, insisted that everything she cooked made him fast, though he admitted he did not cook beer. He told her to stay off his case. Edith, ever curious, asked why they had to have more than one big convention in a single year. Archie sighed, the sound of a man who had explained the same concept a million times. He told her it was not a big convention, but a caucus. He asked if she could remember the word caucus. He explained that this was the idea of their own little post, holding what he called semi-annual meetings in the interest of national security. He spoke of major threats in the world, mentioning how Jimmy Carter was trying to make peace with the Russians. Archie believed that the decisions they took at this year's caucus would be passed right up the line to the National Steering Committee and could very well have an effect upon the entire course of the national defense. Amidst this talk of high stakes and global security, Edith produced a small, peculiar item, a piece of plastic doggy doo-doo. Archie was relieved she found it. He instructed her to pack it right next to his whoopee cushion. He then checked on the batteries he had asked for from Ferguson's. Edith handed them over, admitting she did not know he wanted them for this thing. Archie corrected her immediately, stating it was not a thing but a goose. To Edith, it remained a thing, but Archie insisted you could not go up behind somebody and thing them. You had to go up behind them and let the goose do its work. Soon, the house was filled with the arrival of the guys. Archie told them to come in and synchronize their watches. Edith, concerned as always, pleaded with Archie not to drink a lot, reminding him of his blood pressure. Archie dismissed her concerns with his own brand of medical logic. He told her that booze had nothing to do with blood pressure because it was the heart that controlled that. He explained that the booze went right down the pipes, past the heart, to the infiltration ducts of the liver, and out through the lowest intestines. He urged the guys to move on a double. Edith made one last plea for him to stay out of trouble, avoid salt, and leave off animal fats. Archie agreed to the animal fats part, but dismissed the rest as useless talk. He offered to shake hands goodbye, but Edith, knowing his tricks, realized he had something hidden in his hand. Archie laughed, admitting she was too smart for him, and then he and the guys marched out, singing a rowdy tune about being the master race and hitting the dusty trail. The scene shifted to the convention, or rather, the aftermath of a long night of celebration. The air was thick with the smell of stale spirits and the weary contentment of men who had enjoyed themselves perhaps a little too much. Archie and his friends were gathered around, reflecting on the songs they had sung. Archie remarked that they did not write them like that anymore, to which a friend replied that it was because everybody was dead now. They looked at a fellow named Pete, who had passed out. Archie called him a party pooper and wondered how many drinks he had. The answer was 30. Archie wanted to wake him up with his special goose toy, but others suggested letting him be, citing jet lag. One friend pointed out that Pete came by Greyhound, so it was more like dog lag. The group decided to have some fun. They staged a mock military operation, calling for fire and pretending to open bomb bay doors. They counted down from 5 and made a ruckus that finally roused the room. As the morning light filtered in, someone asked what time it was, but the general consensus was that nobody cared. They were supposed to be downstairs listening to a military speaker, but Archie and the others felt they were wasting valuable drinking time. They called for another shooter, a little taste for Archie. Barney teased Archie, saying he knew how to sell it but did not know how to drink it. Archie, undeterred, proposed a toast to World War II, calling it the best war they ever had so far. They sang about bluebirds and the white cliffs of Dover, the music smooth and filled with a strange, drunken beauty. Eventually, the reality of their indulgence began to set in. A woman nearby asked if Archie had had enough. Archie, feeling the effects of the shooters, insisted he knew when he had enough, but then conceded that if she said he had enough, then he had enough. He made a comment about stewardesses knowing a drunk when they saw one. He then turned his attention to a young girl who had arrived with Wally. He teased Wally about being a big family man dating young girls. The girl seemed unfazed, though Archie's speech was becoming increasingly slurred and confusing. He tried to apologize for being vulgar, but Barney told him to just sit down and be quiet. Later, in the quiet of a hotel room, a more elaborate prank began to unfold. Pinky and the others had arranged for the young girl, Maribel, to be in bed with Archie when he woke up. Archie, groggy and completely disoriented, found himself staring at her in disbelief. He told her he was nuts about her, but pleaded with her not to sing the same song as him. He could not remember how he got there or what had happened the night before. Maribel played along, telling him it was beautiful and calling him a tiger. Archie was in a panic. He insisted he was a happily married man who did not fool around. He felt terrible, blaming himself for taking advantage of a young girl. He told her she was only a young girl, and he was an experienced man of the world. He apologized and told her that if he gave her beautiful memories, she had to try and forget them because he had a wife of 30 years. He spoke about the sanctity of marriage, presenting himself as an old-fashioned guy. Finally, Maribel could not keep up the act any longer. She leveled with him, admitting that Pinky had put her up to the gag. Archie was relieved to find out that nothing had actually happened, though he felt a brief flash of disappointment that he would not have remembered it anyway. His relief quickly turned to a desire for revenge against Pinky Peterson. Outside the room, Pinky and the others were listening in, laughing at their masterpiece of a prank. They joked about how this topped the time Pinky sewed up a friend's zipper. Maribel came out and told them that Archie was dead. The laughter stopped instantly. She claimed he woke up, saw her, clutched his heart, and died. The friends were struck with horror. They could not believe Archie was gone. Pinky felt a deep sense of guilt, insisting he never meant any harm because he loved Archie. In their panic, they began to discuss how to handle the situation. They considered making it look like an accident to protect themselves and ensure Edith could collect insurance money. They even jokingly suggested throwing Archie out the window from the 14th floor, imagining a scenario where he was throwing a water bag and forgot to let go. They thought about Edith, deciding that as far as she was concerned, this might be a stroke of luck. Suddenly, the ruse was over. Archie was very much alive. He returned home to Edith, who was overjoyed to see him. He told her the caucus had bored him almost to death and that he was glad to be back. He admitted he did not like being away from home or sleeping alone. He declared that he was done with caucuses and the sight of middle-aged men acting like children. He was simply happy to be home with his wife, back in the place where he belonged, leaving the chaos of the convention and the plastic doggy do far behind him. The evening air in the living room was thick with the scent of nostalgia and the faint, lingering aroma of dinner. Archie and Edith Bunker sat side by side, their voices blending in a familiar harmony that echoed the sentiments of a bygone era. They sang of the way Glenn Miller played and the songs that had once dominated the hit parade. It was a tribute to a time when they felt the world made sense, a time when girls were girls and men were men. To Archie, the modern world often felt like a confusing maze, and he longed for the days of Herbert Hoover, a time when the welfare state was unheard of and every individual was expected to pull their own weight. He remembered with a peculiar pride how the old Los Alamos had run so smoothly, and as the final notes of their song faded, those memories seemed to linger in the quiet house like old friends. Archie stood up, his mind shifting from the past to the immediate future. He had a mission, or at least what he perceived to be one. He began to fiddle with a small device, preparing it for what he called a trial run. He held it close to his ear, checking its function with a focused intensity. Edith watched him with a mix of curiosity and the patient tolerance she had cultivated over decades of marriage. Archie urged her to hurry, noting that the guys would be arriving soon. He was preparing for the annual caucus, an event he held in the highest regard, despite Edith's gentle confusion about why so many conventions were necessary in a single year. Archie corrected her with a sharp but not unkind tone, explaining for what felt like the millionth time that this was not merely a convention but a caucus. It was a meeting of their local post, held in the interest of national security. In Archie's worldview, the threat to the nation was constant, and he viewed the peacemaking efforts of leaders like Jimmy Carter with deep suspicion. He believed that the decisions made at their small gathering would be passed up to the National Steering Committee and could, quite literally, affect the entire course of national defense. While he spoke of such weighty matters, he was also busy packing his bag with items of a decidedly less serious nature, including a piece of plastic doggy-doo and a whoopee cushion. When Edith produced the batteries he had requested from Ferguson's, Archie carefully installed them into a mechanical goose. To Edith, it was just a thing, but to Archie, it was an essential tool for the camaraderie and practical jokes that define their gatherings. He demonstrated its use with a mischievous glint in his eye, imagining the look on his friends' faces when they were caught off guard. As the time for departure approached, his friends began to arrive, and the house was suddenly filled with the energy of grown men preparing for a weekend of escape. Edith, ever the caregiver, pleaded with Archie not to drink too much, reminding him of his blood pressure. Archie, however, had his own unique understanding of human anatomy. He dismissed her concerns, claiming that alcohol had nothing to do with blood pressure. In his estimation, the heart controlled the pressure, while the booze traveled down a completely different set of pipes, bypassing the heart entirely on its way to the liver and the lower intestines. He waved off her advice about avoiding salt and animal fats, eager to join his comrades. They shared a brief, playful moment before Archie departed, marching out with his friends to the tunes of old military songs, their voices rising in a boisterous chorus as they set off for their destination. The scene at the convention hotel was a far cry from the solemn national security briefing Archie had described to Edith. It was a whirlwind of laughter, singing, and the clinking of glasses. The air was filled with the spirit of the Second World War, as the men toasted to the best war they ever had, at least so far. They sang of bluebirds and the white cliffs of Dover, their voices thick with emotion and perhaps a bit too much whiskey. Among the group was a man named Pete, who had earned the nickname Party Pooper Pete by passing out far too early in the evening. Archie, fueled by the festive atmosphere and a fair amount of alcohol, decided it was his duty to wake Pete up. Ignoring the suggestions that Pete might be suffering from jet lag, Archie insisted it was more likely dog lag since he had arrived by Greyhound bus. He prepared a prank involving fire, or at least the illusion of it, shouting into the sleeping man's ear. The room erupted in laughter as Pete scrambled awake, much to the delight of the gathered crowd. The pranks continued, escalating into a mock bombing run using water, with the men acting out the roles of a flight crew over a target. As the night wore on, the lines between reality and the revelry began to blur for Archie. He found himself engaged in a conversation with a young woman named Maribel, who was the date of his friend Wally. Archie, in his state of diminished clarity, made a comment that was perceived as vulgar, leading to a minor confrontation with Barney. Archie tried to apologize, his words tripping over each other, before finally deciding to sit down and be quiet. However, the seeds of a much larger prank had already been sown. Barney and Pinky, along with Maribel, decided to play the ultimate joke on Archie. They orchestrated a scenario that would make him believe he had committed a grave indistinction. When Archie woke up the next morning, he found himself in a hotel room with Maribel. His memory of the previous night was a complete blank, and he was struck with a sudden, overwhelming sense of guilt. Maribel played her part perfectly, feigning affection and leading him to believe that something significant had occurred between them. Archie's internal struggle was profound. He saw himself as a man of principle, a happily married man who believed in the sanctity of marriage. He tried to explain to Maribel that he was old enough to be her father and that he had a wife of 30 years to whom he was devoted. He spoke of them being like ships that clash in the night, a poetic if somewhat confused attempt to distance himself from the situation. He took full responsibility for what he thought had happened, blaming his own experience as a man of the world for taking advantage of her youth. Just as Archie reached the peak of his despair, Maribel couldn't keep up the ruse any longer. She confessed that it was all a gag, a prank orchestrated by Pinky Peterson. The relief that washed over Archie was instantaneous, but it was quickly replaced by a desire for revenge. He decided to turn the tables on his friends. When Pinky and Barney came to check on the progress of their joke, Maribel told them that Archie had suffered a heart attack and died upon seeing her. The atmosphere in the hallway shifted from triumph to pure panic. Pinky and Barney were distraught, fearing they would be held responsible for Archie's death. They discussed absurd plans to make it look like an accident, even contemplating throwing him out of the window of the 14th floor. Archie, lying still and listening to their frantic conversation, finally decided he had heard enough. He revealed himself, much to the shock and eventual relief of his friends. When Archie finally returned home, he walked through the door with a newfound appreciation for the quiet stability of his life with Edith. He told her that the caucus had been boring, almost to death, and that he was finished with such childish behavior. He realized that the middle-aged men acting like children was no longer where he belonged. He was home, in the place where he was truly known and loved, and as he sat back in his familiar chair, he knew that despite his complaints about the changing world, he had everything he truly needed right there.